Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Force here with some more Hearthstone. Today we'll be taking a look at a minion heavy combo rogue deck that was originally posted up on Team Liquid by Wizard. This deck's got some early game card draw thanks to Novice Engineer and Loot Hoarder, a very strong mid game from creature pop-up cards like the Dark Iron Dwarf and Shattered Sun Cleric, and then some great rogue combos like Eviscerate and Perdition Blade. Now with the general premise out of the way, let's take a look at the deck in action. Now in some ways, this deck is actually somewhat similar to the Warlock board control deck that we took a look at just the other day, in the sense that we're focusing a lot on a strong mid game with creature pop-up cards like the Dark Iron Dwarf. The biggest difference though is that this deck has a very, very slow early game, and pretty much the way you play this, the way that it was suggested and the way that I found through playtesting, is that you just play to survive the early game. And if you can survive the early game and push into the mid game, that's when your creature pump-up cards like the Shattered Sun Cleric, the Dark Iron Dwarf, and then your combos like the Perdition Blade and the Eviscerate, that's when that stuff can really shine, and you can get some great value from trading up creatures, and that, again, that's when this deck will really start to do well. Holy hell, look at this guy is all over the business here. That is really unbelievable, actually. All right, so this is kind of a tough situation for us. I can't really deal with that right now. In fact, I'm not going to be able to deal with that for quite some time. That's a really tough creature for... this really sucks. All right, I think we're just going to start off. If I play this, he just attacks into it and kills it. But then I could play this and finish it off since it's a battle cry. So I am actually... No, because then he could also just do that to attack into it. So I am actually just going to weapon up. And... shucks. Do I take the extra damage and guarantee the kill next turn? I guess so. This really sucks, but I have a hard time of dealing with that. I won't be able to get a combo off for a few more turns. So I figure Perdition Blade, that thing's down to 1. At least I can kill it now in this upcoming turn. It sucks that I had to take that extra damage, but since I wouldn't be able to combo off of this anyways, I would have had to wait a few more turns, and that damage would have been coming regardless. So I'm glad that we're gonna just do it this way. I'm gonna go ahead and attack him first so I don't waste the attack on this. Then we play this, and we're gonna be able to do the damage to it because battle cries can target him. And then we're gonna pass the turn. So we saved our durability. I didn't want to waste it right away because I would prefer to save this to attack to pick off creatures like this thing. That's exactly what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be attacking into that. Or if I can combo this, I could do that as well. But chances are I won't be able to combo that. Yeah, it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to combo that. So I'd rather just not play it. And we're just gonna play this. We'll draw a card. We draw another SI agent, and we're taking a lot of damage, but we're keeping his board clear, and we're hopefully then going to start to shine again in the mid game, which is what this deck is really built around. So the playtesting that I did before this, I played about 10 games. I won, there was either 7 or 8 of them. This deck has been performing quite well for me so far. And is he going straight for my face? No, he's going double claw. Please use that double claw to attack into my 2/4. That would make me so happy. I don't think he's going to. I think he's probably going to swing me straight for the face. Wow, okay. I'm actually happier that that happened that way because I did not want to take that 5 damage given that I'm already at 19. In fact, I would almost say that that might be a misplay on his hand. Now we're going to start to work into doing some combos and getting some stuff going. So what we're going to start off with is we're just going to Novice Engineer, lots of card draw just to filter stuff out, and these creatures become, in and of themselves, just okay, but they become so much more effective with, again, the pump-ups like the Shattered Sun Cleric. And I am actually going to attack him. We're going to start working through that armor and then start pushing through in some upcoming turns here. Keep in mind, his hand is very, very low right now, and at the moment we have board control. And chances are anything that he plays is going to be taken out. We've got Perdition Blade, we've got SI7 Agent. We're in a good spot to eliminate anything that he may potentially play. And that was weird. I mean, I guess, you know, yeah, he got rid of some of the thing. So what do we do? Do we Argent Commander? It's kind of a waste. This is better off as a surprise. I think a good play this turn. We could do something like pump up one of our creatures, actually. But I'm gonna save these low casting cost things. I'm gonna save these for trying to combo like with the SI7 agents. For right now, I'm actually just gonna play a relatively safe thing and just play the Drake. You know, we get a card draw off of it. We get a big old 4/4 in play. We save our lower cast things for comboing, which is what it's best used for. Because I'd rather combo with 3 than try to combo with 5. Just a lot more difficult. Obviously, we can do it based on the things that we have, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You guys know what I'm saying. All right, so what could we do this turn? Well, we can pump up. We can remove the shield. We can attack in for 5. Try to figure out the best way that I'd rather keep this in play though. Let's see, we've got 3/6. So I can do 1, drop that off, 4, oh, here we go. We're gonna do this for 1, just to drop the shield. And then with our second 3, we're gonna go ahead and deal 2 damage to this. And then we're going to go ahead and attack for the final 3 with this creature. And then we do this. And I am actually going to use up a durability to swing him for the face because I'm feeling pretty comfortable right now with him having such an empty hand. I don't feel like, since we've moved past the early game, using this to pop off creatures isn't as necessary. I'm going to start pressuring some more. And look at that, big old 8/8, but we've got answers. Remember, we held on to our Argent Commander? This is a perfect situation in which to use it. You're going to be able to swing through 4 with that, and then we'll be sitting on another 2. So we have to work through 8. We can certainly do that. I could just do those 2 as well. And I think that'll probably be the play. Yeah, I think that's a good play. So we'll go ahead and go with this. And then we will go, I think I'll follow up with the Ringleader too. We're gonna go for 4. We keep our shield, we get rid of this, we swing through him for 4. We're gonna go ahead and play a comboed Ringleader. And then I'm gonna push through for 2, bringing him down to 13, and now he's in the red. We'll call this. He's in a situation where he's very, you know, we've got 8, 9, 10, 11, we've got 12 damage next turn just on the board, plus our weapon, that's 13. He could potentially die. There's his savior, the healing touch. He's now out of the red, but he's still not in a great situation. He's got a big old 6/7 in play. Whatever, honestly, not a big concern for me. We've got a pretty strong board. We could work to eliminate it, or we could ignore it and swing for his face. Given the board state, I'm kind of inclined to do the latter. Let me start off with a Drake here, see what we draw into. Got a deadly, ooh, you know what? Oh my gosh. All right, 4, 5, let's see. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, plus 5, 17. It's not enough for the kill, but geez, that's a lot of damage. Yeah, let's just go straight for his face, huh? That sounds good to me. We're gonna double deadly poison. And we're just gonna go straight for his face. We're going to ignore the 6/7, given that we're at 19 health. I don't see him doing that damage to me next turn. He's now down to 4. I'm trying to think, yeah, you always have to consider your deck too, because there are some crazy combo decks that can potentially do 20 damage in 1 turn, but that's not something that I am familiar with when it comes to playing against a Druid. It's not something I'm familiar with Druids having the potential of doing. There could be some decks that are out there, but it's nothing that I've seen in the metagame. Now, if I was playing against a Priest or a Warrior, I'd be a little more reluctant to leave a 6/7 in play. Even being at 19 health. But again, given the opponent, I feel pretty confident. In fact, it looks like we're just gonna win this turn. And so there it is. That's the game. All right, so that's a good example of a game. Let's go ahead and wrap this video up by taking a quick look at the deck list. From the top, starting off with 2 Backstabs, very, very nice creature removal for the early game. Also very nice to pull into combos because it's a 0-cost card. You get some damage off on a minion, plus you can trigger a combo. This helps you control the early game and survive the early game, pushing into your strong point, the mid game. Deadly Poison can be used for a variety of reasons. You saw it last game for a good way to push through some extra damage in the late game. Also, a lot of times using it on our basic weapon just to survive the early game. We've got our Eviscerate, very, very nice combo card for 4 damage, can be 5 to 6 damage depending on what spell power creatures that you have in play. Speaking of which, we've got the Bloodmage Thalnos, the spell power, the card draw. It's a 1/1, turn 2, and you can pump it up with things like the Shattered Sun Cleric and the Dark Iron Dwarf, making it actually a threat in which other situations it really wouldn't be. Defias Ringleader, because even post-nerf, it's still crazy. Turn 1 coin into this thing, you've got 4 damage on the board. That's a pain in the butt for most people to deal with. The Loot Hoarder, very strong, 2/1 early game. The death rattle of drawing a card, just a good thing to have. Other card draw here through the Novice Engineer. Why the card draw? Why the card draw? Well, some people say these things are wasted cards, specifically Novice Engineer. Loot Hoarder is a little more favored among people. But the thing is, it's not just the card draw, it's also a body that can potentially be bigger with our creature pump-ups, and because it's low cost, it's a great way to pull into combos like from the Perdition's Blade. A nice weapon, 2/2, 1 damage battle cry, 2 damage through combo. The Edwin VanCleef, and you know, it's great. Not super necessary if you don't have this super crazy legendary. You can still run this deck, you can substitute it with something else, and I think you'd do just fine. But you coin into this, specifically against a priest. If you coin into this on your turn 2, coin, 3 mana, drop this into play, it's a 4/4. That's a pain in the butt for a priest to deal with in the early game, or potentially later game you can deal with a much bigger creature if you're playing more cards prior to it coming into play. Creature buffer, the Shattered Sun Cleric, nice 3/3, buffs other things up. The SI7 Agent, because it's got a great combo, plus it's a 3/3 body. Dark Iron Dwarf for buffing creatures, plus that 4/4, super good against Priest, and just good in general. 2 of the Defender of Argus, giving us some nice taunts, plus pumping up our minions. 1 Gnomish Inventor for the card draw, nice 4 health, makes it harder to deal with. The Drakes here for the 4/4, the spell power, and the card draw. If you, really, many decks that have anything resembling damage, I mean, even with the simple, for this really all we get advantage for is like the Backstab and the Eviscerate, but still, it's a 4/4, you get card draw. Yeah, it's not bad. Sylvanas Windrunner, probably one of the best neutral legendaries in the game. Should be run in pretty much every deck. Lots of people are saying that nowadays, and I concur. And then lastly, we've got 2 of the Argent Commanders because it's a nice surprise, good for picking off creatures. You can't really beat 4 attack and a charged Divine Shield minion for 6. Pretty solid stuff. All right, guys, that's a deck list here for the Minion Heavy Combo Rogue deck, originally posted up on Team Liquid by Wizard, who he actually called this a Wombo Combo deck, but that name doesn't really make sense. I know I'm taking liberties, but hey, it's my video. So it's his deck, though, so all credit goes to him, as well as anyone else who I get these deck lists from. Thanks, guys, so much for watching. Be sure to stay tuned, as we'll be following up this video with a few games, generally 2 to 3, as we showcase this running through Masters 3 stars. Thanks again for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe, keep watching, and keep owning.